Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Rabbit Hole, where the questions are made up and the points don't matter. I'm joined, as always, by my friends, Ray McClintock and
Did you
Kyle.
just whose line this
Yeah,
introduction?
I who's lined anyway this introduction.
Quality.
Hardcore.
Quality.
Ray McClintock and Kyle Gilroy. Nathan Cubes, unfortunately, couldn't join us tonight. He's a busy working man doing busy working man stuff, so he's here.
So who would I be? Who would I be?
You're
on whose line?
On whose line?
You're Colin.
Yeah, that's
You're definitely Colin.
Yeah, you're
not
definitely
the
Colin.
bald guy. The guy
No.
with the second most amount of hair.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, I'm the bald guy.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. Like, whose line is it anyway? Used to be, like, an experience in my household. Like, we would always stop what we
Yes.
were doing, and we would watch
Mhm.
those episodes. And, they were so funny, man. I love
Comedic genius.
it. Seriously is. And it's all improv. That's the
Yeah.
beautiful thing
Mhm.
about it.
No,
All
that's the mind blowing part about it. You know,
Yeah.
is that it's like to get up on stage and be as
Uh-huh.
funny as those guys are, just like that.
Yeah.
No way.
You
There's
know
no
what?
way I could do that.
Mhm. Oh,
You always-
dude. Sorry, listeners out there who happen to be
Hey,
children,
listener.
but listener. Sorry.
Um,
But we should just change our thing to whose hole is it anyway?
Oh, my God.
That is a horrible combination of the rabbit hole and whose line is it anyway?
Yeah. Whose hole is
Worst possible.
Hey, who told you the name of my orgy group?
Jesus.
This is starting off
Did
so much better.
Did I accidentally link you on that email? Man. Shit.
Oh no.
Go to the house with the red light. Go to the house with the red light. Come on,
House
guys.
with the red light. Just remember, you need a password to leave as well.
Oh my goodness. No.
That's very Stanley Kubrick. What's the movie with Tom Cruise where he goes into the weird sex cults at night?
Uh-huh.
The Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh,
Yes, Eyes Wide Shut, man.
Yes.
Thank you. What a weird movie.
I've never seen it. I just know.
Really?
I just know like that colloquially has come up in a lot of different things.
Oh,
Like,
dude,
that
it's
scenario.
an intense movie.
Is
You
it?
know,
Is it? You say it's Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Did
Okay,
I,
Tom Hanks.
did I say Tom Hanks?
I thought you did. Tom Hanks in that
No.
movie seems very out of place.
You said Tom Cruise.
Woody.
No, I was thinking if Forrest Gump showed up to one of those parties.
Oh yeah, I was just taking Toy Story to a new level, you know.
Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs, but you got 3 bitches.
Oh man.
This is starting to feel like the old rabbit hole. This is
Yeah.
getting off rails fast.
I'm
Except
glad we could.
except
Yo,
it's
what's
like
that necklace around your neck, Ray?
I
it's
told
not,
you.
it's not, dude. It's the
Dude.
like the embroidery.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is, man.
I told you. I
Dude,
said
look
the
at-
same thing. I said the exact same
It's
thing. I
built
thought it
into
was-
the shirt. Isn't it awesome? I love
We're
it.
not so different, you and I.
You and I. Yeah, I definitely don't have a seashell necklace on.
That would be really cool. It's a good look for you, Ray. To be
I
honest.
this shirt. I'm a fan of the shirt. Big fan of this
You
shirt.
definitely exude beach bro.
Really?
Yeah,
Which is
Bruh.
so funny because that's like the opposite of my personality.
it really.
You know,
You know, yeah.
I
I
hate
wouldn't, no, I
beaches.
wouldn't say like beach bro specifically, but you definitely have a bro vibe. Like I could see a puka shell necklace being on brand for you.
Mm, mm.
See, I just get that because of how my voice
Ava
sounds
would
in
probably
real
hate it.
life.
Oh yeah,
It
Ava would
sounds-
definitely be like, God, no.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude.
Oh my god.
No,
So
bruh.
I have a really important question for you guys.
No.
There's
No.
something I've been thinking of and something I've been reflecting on a lot recently, and that is, do you all miss sports?
Sorry, I was scraping something off my. Do I miss sports?
Yeah, because it hit me the other day that I hadn't seen or heard of or thought of a single sporting event in like months.
Hmm.
And thinking about like now would be, we would have
Mm.
had March Madness, we'd be like in the MLB season, like there'd be a lot of sports talks going on like at this time.
Yeah.
And I'm not too plugged into sports. Like I'm not I'm not a really avid sports fan, but I'm engaged when it's on. But now that it's not on, I feel like I don't know if I miss it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, yeah, I definitely have this weird like view of sports as just this like great distraction to like
Mm.
the sad truth of reality. You know what I mean? Like people just don't want to deal with their existential crises, so they like focus on like sports.
I mean, what is a good thing, Ray? It's a good thing. You know?
No, you're not wrong. I think there are some like there's a reason that like going back centuries, like we've always had sporting events. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
seriously, it's just part of like kind of like human culture. So I definitely see the importance of it, but at the same time, I personally I don't give two shits about it. For me, it's kind of refreshing because I hate the March Madness bullshit, dude.
Really?
It's so yeah, it's so annoying. Like I don't care about your stupid like spreadsheets and stuff or whatever those like little brackets
The
are.
brackets, yeah.
Like I just hate like you hear the brackets word for like a month and you're just like,
Mhm.
oh my god, I'm
Yeah.
so
Dude,
over this.
I did one free bracket one time and felt like I lost $1 million when I won. So I was like,
Yeah,
what the? How could I get this wrong?
No, seriously.
I've done the randomly generated brackets because I'm like, well,
Uh-huh.
it's kind of like the lottery where it's like people who pick their own numbers never win. It's the people who just randomly do it.
Yeah.
So I've done that a couple times because I was like, be fun to
Yeah.
beat all these people who like care deeply about this stuff.
Yeah. A long time ago, I can't remember who it was. Some, uber rich billionaire owner of a Fortune 500 company once had a promotion that if you could guess the perfect bracket, like I think like you had to correctly guess every team that won every match. And I don't know if the points were involved at all. Whatever a perfect bracket means, if you could correctly make a perfect bracket for that like season and tournaments, he would like award you $1 billion.
I'd definitely get on that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's something that's impossible. It's never been done. Like even with statistical analysis, you can't predict a perfect bracket. It's literally just luck.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Ray and I predict when each other are going to talk. And then we
Yeah.
talk at the same time. Every time, dude. I'm so sorry about that. I just feel like it's
it's so funny.
It's weird because like in normal conversation, I feel like it doesn't happen that often, but for some reason over Zoom, I'm constantly like people are always like talking at the same time,
Yeah.
Somewhere we're losing social cues like within like the digital environment.
Well, it's also delayed.
Yeah.
Like we hear each other so many seconds after it already happened, so it's hard to pick up on the timing of a conversation.
No, we're not. Don't even blow my feeble mind.
Kyle can't handle the concept of a conversation. Ooh.
You said that like 5 seconds ago. I don't know.
That's the worst.
Oh man.
So
well, anyway, how do you feel about sports, Kyle? I mean, you're the one with the
you're the one with the hat on backwards.
Or Avalanche flag.
I was about to say the only sport I miss is hockey.
Yeah.
The hockey?
Hockey is a pretty odd. I mean, if I'm gonna watch a sport, it's gonna be either UFC or hockey.
That's Colorado people in your hockey.
Yeah. And
You're
Chicago.
from the Northeast, like it's huge out there, dude.
Dude, yes. Yeah,
I was raised in North Carolina. I had
Hurricanes.
I had to make that. Yeah, that's true. We do have a hockey team.
Yeah.
No, in North Carolina, it's college basketball or nothing. You need to choose if you're Carolina Blue or Duke Blue and nothing else. And I'm just like, and I'm just here like,
there's some blue there. There's some blue. There's blue. If you're looking for blue, there's blue there.
Are you looking for blue? Here you go.
Oh yeah, here.
Yeah.
My blue eyes.
Here, one blue eye.
Yeah, your one blue eye.
My other ones, who cares?
Yeah,
no, it's whatever.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I find myself watching a lot of UFC replays right now, though. But I don't know. Part of that's like I'm training jiu-jitsu, so it's cool watching pros like use technique and stuff in matches. But I don't know. Yeah, that's the only sport I really follow, to be honest. So.
I just like watching 2 grown men or 2 grown women beat each other up, and no, I'm not involved in it, and I'm not getting hurt. I'm like,
Dude,
you guys are way cooler than I.
That's some scary stuff, man. People who do that, I mean, they're just. on a different level than the average human, you know?
No, seriously. They have to be all in. Like, you have to be committed to that, because one false move, one mistake, one wrong hit to the head, and like, not only is your career done, but your life could be done. Like, you can never talk or walk the same way again based on the injury that you get.
Yeah.
Like
Dude, this guy
UFC is no joke. But
like
random side story. Speaking of UFC, I was scrolling through the YouTube, looking at random videos, and one video popped up that was Joe Rogan's very first UFC commentary, and it was like UFC 12 or something.
I think I've seen that, and
It
he's
looks like
so
a
young
baby.
in it.
Looks like a baby. Has hair and everything.
has hair and everything.
I know.
He looks like a baby. He sounds like a baby too.
He's his head has gotten huge as he's gotten older.
Wow, how does that even happen?
Steroids. I actually don't. Who knows what that guy's taking?
He's needling his neck when he gets
just his neck.
He's
like, I'm a boot. I'm definitely a booty needler, but he's a neck needler. You know,
a needler.
We all have our preference. We all have our preference. I'm a between the toes kind of guy myself.
Are we talking dry needling, acupuncture, or are we talking?
What I really want to recommend is times are tough. It's a rough economy, so always share needles. Everyone listening out there.
Jesus.
Wow.
There is the Will Crandall dark humor that I deeply miss.
During COVID, he's just like, share needles,
God,
people.
Very
It's
economic.
fine.
I'm not working in higher ed right now, so my filter is just completely gone.
Yeah.
No, Ray, you're exactly right. I've honestly always have had like a sick sense of humor. Like, the more twisted, the better. And I think it's because I started listening.
Was that a pun?
Huh?
That was a pun. That was a pun.
What was a pun?
A sick sense of humor.
No, well, hey, only I can make cancer jokes. You calm down over there.
Yeah, trust me. When you throw out cancer jokes and you have not had cancer, it does not go well.
It doesn't win the crowd over. It really doesn't.
No.
But no, like, I have been watching stand-up comedy since I was really, really young. And I can remember, like, being way too young. My family always had HBO, and I found out about George Carlin and Richard Pryor, like, I was a teenager. Like, I was probably 10, 11, 12 years old, and listening to George Carlin and thinking, this is the freaking funniest man in the world. How I didn't know, like, when you first realize one person can stand on the stage and talk and make thousands of people laugh, you're just like, it changes your mind as a child, because I think inherently all children want to be entertainers in some way. Like, I really feel like all children out there are just like, they're not just like battling for attention, but everyone wants to be the ham, and once they're like the center of attention, it's a lot of fun for them. You know, they like in making other people laugh and stuff like that. So when you're a child, that's really cool. But when you're a child and you find out that that's a career, and then how sick and twisted it can be, and then especially at the rise of the internet, where you're finding out like there's so much YouTube and content out there, there's like so much out there, you can just possibilities are limitless, basically. And so me and my friends have always just tried to think of just the worst shit possible and think it's hilarious.
Well, I honestly think that comedy is like the great protector of like our First Amendment rights.
Oh God, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, Dave Chappelle said you can say whatever you want as long as it's funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and even there's some comedians where it's like you can tell where they're like they lapse in and out of like philosophical ramblings and then like comedy. They'll lure you in with like some jokes, and then they just drop like some heavy stuff on you, and I'm always blown away by the level of depth that some comedians go to in terms of like interpersonal, like spiritual, like kind of just sharing, you know?
Yeah.
You want to know one of my favorite ones, since Ray just like described it to a T? I don't know if you guys know Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks was beyond his time. He is a legend.
He was beyond his time.
He is so out there. Like the things
and
he was
philosophical.
saying, the things he was saying and how he said it, like way beyond his time. Way beyond his time. The man was a genius, absolute genius.
He was so he was like the original
He
Even
was
though I don't know who came first, but George Carlin and him were very similar
Yeah,
comedians.
Richard Pryor
but
was
Bill
like one of
Hicks
the
just-
first.
yeah. So I would say Bill Hicks was the evolution of Lenny Bruce.
Yes.
I don't know who Lenny Bruce is either.
I think I've mentioned it, but Lenny Bruce was the comedian who he laid it all on the line. He was a comedian who broke all the rules in the sense that he literally would get arrested after some of his
Yep.
performances
Yep.
because there were certain laws at the time about what you could and couldn't say as a comedian, as a performer. And he was like, no, that's bullshit. Freedom of speech. I should be able to say whatever I want. So he was the comedian that fell on that bullet so that stand-up and freedom of speech could reign free today.
Yeah.
Have you seen The
Interesting.
Marvelous Miss Maisel?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
I
It's basically all about Lenny Bruce, like
Mhm.
really like introducing these people to standing up for themselves
Yeah.
and like being these crass, because we're all crass people, you know.
yeah.
Like, I don't care who you are. You talk about some pretty, especially, I don't know, in the bedroom, you know, you talk about some stuff
Yeah.
you shouldn't say out loud in public,
Oh, for sure.
you know?
For sure. But
Mm.
like my whole thing is like if you're offended by stand-up comedian, don't go to the show. Don't listen to it.
Yeah.
Like change the channel. Like you don't need to go to a show and heckle just because it's part of the offended cancel culture. Like
Yeah.
Don't-
I
that's absolutely ridiculous. There's a
Yeah.
documentary about it. I think is it on Netflix? It's either on Netflix or Amazon. I think it's literally called "Can't We Take a Joke?" And it's all about how offended culture is starting to affect stand-up comedians, and how people are starting to like get in trouble for some stuff they're saying, and there's a lot of pushback because of it.
yeah. I think it's a super slippery slope, personally.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and I mean,
But you
There's
see, that's
now-
the thing. You have to be
Yeah.
funny. You have to be funny.
yeah. Yeah, obviously, otherwise you're just giving a speech, you know?
Yeah. And you're exactly right. If you're not funny,
Yeah.
then you're just giving a speech, and then it comes down to what's your content.
Yeah. Well, and even if you're giving a speech, you can you should still be somewhat funny and engaging,
Yeah.
you know?
Seriously.
I think, yeah, it's just, but yeah, I think it's super important to society. And I think it's kind of like I've heard comedy be referenced, or the metaphor that was used to compare it was like the frogs of like nature. Where like the first species to die, or species to die, due to like environmental changes and like things like that, is the frog. And so it's kind of like this, canary in the coal mine, where it's like, oh shit, the frogs are dying, like we need to start paying attention. Same with comedians, where it's like, okay, when comedians start getting silenced, we need to start paying attention, because they're kind of like the last holdout of true freedom of expression and speech. So
Hey,
I would
Ray.
believe that.
Hey, Ray.
what?
I got a joke about frogs.
Oh, I would love
Hey.
to hear a joke about frogs.
Hey, you ready for
is
this?
it PG?
I'm gonna hype it up so hard, and it's just gonna fail miserably, and I'm
can't
gonna
wait.
laugh at it.
I can't wait.
Okay.
So a frog's feet have 10 toads.
Wow, that's horrible. That's a good dad joke, though. That's a really good dad
Wow.
joke. I might actually use that.
Wow, that is.
I like stuff like that. That's good.
Oh my god, I got a dad joke story for you all.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I have a really good dad joke story. So recently, my sister and I were renovating the kitchen in my dad's old house, and so we started clearing out all of his old, pots and pans and utensils and stuff like that. And my dad has, and I think I actually got him this for a Christmas gift one year. It's a like grilling set, like spatula and tongs and stuff, but the handle are golf club handles.
Oh, nice.
Which, first of all, that is the most dad product ever.
Yeah.
My
Like,
dad has a hockey
Yeah.
stick as his.
yeah, I
Probably
feel like
some
if you're a
good
dad,
control, though.
definitely, it's got good grip. It's
Oh,
Yeah,
great
you
grip.
know,
Ah.
you go to flip the burger with little.
Yeah. I feel like every dad has some kind of item that's like a parody of a grill item. Like that is
Mhm.
just, you need that in your dad arsenal. But we were clearing it out, and I don't know what happened to me in this scenario. Like the spirits took over. I swear to God, the dad joke spirits took over me. So we're clearing out, and I find these utensils, and I hold it in my hand. My very first thought, like the very first concept that came into my mind was, man, I bet if I cook a burger with this, it's going to taste like a hole-in-one.
That's lame, dude.
Yeah. It's
I
bad.
might flip a
It's
burger.
I'm not.
Dude,
I didn't say I was proud of it. I did not. I didn't say I was proud of that joke at all. I'm just saying it happened.
You're really trying
Yo.
to drive it home now.
If you flip
Hey!
one, you say, and it lands on the floor. Floor? You know? Just,
Floor? Oh God.
just yell it. Gosh, I
Oh.
can't. I've been, seriously, just with the amount of dad jokes I have, I've been ready since I was like 10 years old, man.
You've been a dad since you were 10 years old?
Nice.
Dude, you're a cool kid.
I didn't even know it was possible. Like a science experiment.
What?
Oh my God.
What? You were a cool. Oh, that's
were a
good
cool
one,
kid.
Will.
You're a cool
You're
kid.
pretty
Yeah, you're really
Look
cool.
at that.
Really
Look
cool.
at that. That explains the hat on backwards. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of people with like the bleached like blonde hair though.
Thank you, Ray.
I've
Yeah.
seen a bunch of people. No, it's like I've seen it like
I mean, I
you were
have
the first
two.
one, and then
No,
all of a
I'm-
sudden it's like, wait,
I
like
mean,
I was up in
I'm
CB.
glad.
Oh, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys see it because I thought I was going crazy. I was
Yeah.
like, who are all these other blonde-haired people? I was
No,
like,
yeah.
Kyle,
There's
you're
definitely-
you're a trendsetter.
See, I'm on no social
No, I'm
media, so I have
not.
no clue what the actual trends are right now. You know, in
Yo,
terms of like
seriously.
style and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Hey.
I need to get off Facebook. I spend way too much freaking time on
Right.
Facebook. It's
Oh,
killing me.
no.
June is
Ray
whining.
froze.
Did I?
Well, now okay.
Oh,
Did you
no,
freeze?
he's good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm sitting right here.
You
He
disappeared.
froze on my phone.
Oh, yeah. You did the
I
whole
have to have
Kyle's
one
iPhone thing.
disappearing act. I'm the magician of the show, okay?
Honestly.
I just, woo!
And
And
he's
he's
gone.
gone.
And he's gone. Ray and I said at the
So
exact
I've
same
got
time.
something to say. Whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd he go?
Oh,
Well,
Oh my God.
you know, going back, I am curious. Going back to the whole freedom of speech thing.
Mhm.
You know, Kyle, you work security, and we're in the military.
Mhm.
You know, and Will, you're probably one of the more right-leaning people who I have consistent contact with. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think of like this police brutality with some of these protests and like how it's been handled and like the,
Yeah.
you know, even the military response now? Hold on, let me kick June out of the room because she's starting to whine because I'm not paying attention to her. Go, get up, go, get
For
up.
anyone-
all you
anyone out there-
listeners, this dude has some
Ray is like,
sexy
oh,
abs.
look, it's June.
I know, I'm trying to
Abs.
move her.
Is that Caleb?
Yeah, that's Caleb.
Hi,
You gotta move.
Caleb.
Say special guest.
Hi, Caleb. Hi.
And you're gone. Go,
Hey, I know him. He used to live in my building.
go. Go.
And I also used to live in that building.
Used to have a building.
I used to have a home.
There you go. Okay, June is out.
Hey Kyle, remember when I used to have a home and a job?
Hey, shut up. That's too soon for me.
It's Ray. Also, Ray, I feel it for you, man. Oh, yeah.
All right.
So real quick
Zoom
side
hug.
note:
There
if
we go.
anyone out there listening is hiring in higher ed,
Yeah.
please reach out to me, William Crandall, and Ray McClintock. We'll send you copies of our resume. Experience. So I had a really funny thought the other day. You know that scene, the scene in Infinity War, where Loki is.
Which
Oh,
one?
that scene?
Which one?
That scene,
Yeah,
yeah.
that scene.
Yeah, you're so funny.
No, yeah.
The scene in Infinity War where Loki's trying to go to Earth with Thanos. He says, I have some experience in that realm. Thanos goes, if you call failure experience, I call experience. I feel like that's just me in the job market right now.
I have experience.
I
Yeah.
have experience.
Experience
No.
with experiences.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, Ray, just remind me of your question again.
Oh, just thoughts on, you know, freedom of speech and how the police have responded, the military response in some cases.
Yeah. I don't.
Yo, yeah.
Kyle,
Go
do you
ahead,
wanna? All right. Okay.
No,
Kyle just
stop
waits-
speaking.
Kyle
Stop
We're
just
both-
speaking.
waits.
I think
He
Kyle
just
and I
waits for
both-
someone to start talking and then.
Well, I think Kyle and I both are just like, I don't know if I want to talk first about this
Yeah.
topic, but so police brutality. Oh man,
Well, and more freedom of speech too. I mean, that's
Yeah. So I mean,
that's what kind of like
if you're
spurred me
wanting to
into it.
look at it from a freedom of speech lens, I don't think it is okay to throw tear gas in the face of protesters. Like, it is in our
True.
constitutional right to have peaceful protest.
Hmm.
And from what I've seen, I have seen both scenarios. I have seen police trying to break up rioting and looting, but I have also seen extremes to where police are trying to stop peaceful protests. So
Yeah.
I've seen it both. I don't agree. And like, you're seeing some horrible photos out there. You're seeing some like in Asheville, North Carolina, which my state, I claim North Carolina, when the Asheville PD broke down a medical tent and they were
Yeah.
stomping on water bottles. Like, that's
Cutting
disgusting.
them up. Yeah.
Yeah, cutting them up. Like, that's absolutely disgusting. And then there's a video of a police officer who pushed down a 75-year-old man.
Yeah.
Also, if you're listening to this and you think that is fake and you think that that whole thing was doctored, you're a POS. Like, that's disgusting if you can agree with the rhetoric that the old man faked falling down and faked having a concussion.
Yeah, he was bleeding out his ears.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
You didn't see the tube coming out of his ear? No, stop that. Ridiculous.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
so 1 second. Let me check who's listening. Hold on. So in the military, in the military.
Nathan Cubes come out of nowhere.
Nathan just logs in. Did someone say Nathan?
So check this out. They told us if somebody comes to your post with hostile intent, it doesn't matter if they're stomping their shoes or blasting out talking shit. You can one up their talking crap. Sorry.
I don't think it matters.
And OC spray them.
Hmm.
So
So
if there's hostile intent, it's up to your subjective opinion as a human being. And if you feel threatened, you do that, and they'll decide your repercussions. So the thing that's happening is that even if there's hostile intent, it's basically on the person to do the action. So if they just stand up for themselves and feel threatened, then they feel threatened as a person. But if you don't, but you're leaving it to the authorities' hands to make that decision.
Yeah, about how you acted.
Yeah. So I'd just rather be like back in Woodstock and be like, peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So speaking of Summer of Love, the Chaz.
The
Chaz.
The
What's
Chaz.
that?
Do you guys not really? The Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Seattle?
Oh no. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. Chaz. I totally spaced on that for a second.
No worries. I think they've gone through a rebranding. I think it's CHOP now, but I don't know. It's Capitol Hill something P. I don't know what the new acronym stands for. So sorry out there. I don't know the new acronym, but I'll refer to it as Chaz for the duration of this video.
Chaz sounds like one of the bros I used to have.
Chaz sounds like he's wearing a seashell necklace right now.
He's wearing a Ray shirt. Right?
Yeah.
It sounds like they all look like you, Ray.
Yeah. Chaz.
Imagine Chaz.
Yeah, no, but a 6-block radius of Seattle that the citizens have just totally taken over and not allowing police in at all.
Yeah.
And so I haven't been following it super strictly, but I also have a friend who lives in Seattle who's been kind of texting me back and forth about it as well. I think it's really interesting, one, to see like the rhetoric that's on both sides of the media, because the day that it was very heavily covered, I went to CNN. And they have people on there saying, it's the summer of love, it's peaceful protest, it's this and this and this, what you would expect from CNN. And then I go to Fox News and they're saying, what are you not seeing? What's actually happening inside? There might be crimes or rapes going on inside that the police can't respond to, which I don't know. I don't know what has been called or what hasn't, but I could see that there probably is something going on in there that isn't being handled. But anyway, like, no matter what you want to think about it, I'm down for the experiment.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, I'm down to see, like, if it fails, it fails, but at least someone's trying something.
Yeah, I've been following it moderately. I've been more concerned with Hong Kong, honestly, than anything.
Oh, I don't know what's going on in Hong Kong.
Oh, dude,
Ray,
that is a whole nother show.
You are always so in tune with global politics. I don't know how you do it.
I have ADHD, so I get really distracted, and I just, dude, I live the rabbit hole, man.
Hey man, I'm sorry, is America not enough for you?
America's, yeah.
You know what, right? If you like Hong Kong so much, you can get out.
You can go
get
back.
out.
You can get out.
Yeah, seriously. Take my seashell necklace and head right up. Yeah. But no, the
oh man,
Chaz. So what I found interesting was that the police like voluntarily pulled out. So it was very much like this surrendering by like the government of Washington, Seattle politicians and the police to kind of give them that space. And from what I've gathered is like, it seems like that was like a very tactical move on their part. And now from here you infiltrate, now that you have this like established like precinct, now you send in unmarked, kind of like spies, for lack of better words, who can then infiltrate and bring it down from inside. I think that's been a proven strategy for these like extremist groups, just like get people in and then bring it down that way. It's also, I mean, so you think of Waco, Texas, and then also there was the Oregon standoff. Do you remember that with the ranchers or whatever?
No, I remember playing Oregon Trail in middle school, but that's about it.
Yeah, there was something else that took place, and I don't know the details enough to like talk about it. But both of those were handled in a way that people were like, "Whoa!" Like the government just came down hard on some citizens who were just standing up for what they believed was right. And so I think the police and the government are being very cautious about how they handle this, right? Because the public eye is like the eye of Sauron right now. You know what I mean? You could just like see its gaze like switch.
Yeah.
So they're being pretty cautious about it. But what I've seen videos of what it looks like inside Chaz, and then also like what is actually taking place, and it's really a fully autonomous like mini little city. And it's very much like this like soapbox, like a metaphorical soapbox where people, they have educational videos and speeches and presentations and people can get up and share. So it's kind of like a safe space to protest, to be completely honest. So
yeah, I want to know how far they're going to take it. Like, are they trying to make their own country? Are they trying to be sustainable, grow their own crops, things of that nature? Are they, I don't know how far it's going to go, but I have definitely seen that same thing. They're bringing in, artists and musicians to preach that exact same thing. Soapbox was a great term for it, Ray.
Maybe I need to head out there.
Yeah,
it'd be cool to go. I mean,
oh, dude, what if we brought the podcast to Seattle? If we interviewed, what's the name of the guy? What's the name of the guy who's running it?
I think it's Chaz Michaels.
Chaz Michaels. Great.
No, some people are trying to point him as a terrorist, which is obnoxious. But
that's so dangerous, dude.
Yeah,
that rhetoric is just scary.
I think they've been throwing out that word a lot within the last 2 weeks.
Like what? Terrorist? Yeah, homegrown terrorists and stuff.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, dude, that it's the problem is that like by itself that's a dangerous statement, but then you pile it on top of this mound of shit that we're dealing with as like just a species across the board. There's just like really like existentially threatening things going on. It's like, okay, like will we be able to grow crops within the next 10 years? Will we have enough water by 2030? Like will AI take over that? It's like that kind of stuff is like bothering us, at least me.
There's the Ray McClintock I know and love, the artificial intelligence.
I just watched the whole thing on like facial recognition and how it's been used even in the protests. So they've been like there have been security cameras monitoring protests, and they have tracked people at the protests, linked their faces with those that they've recorded on those cameras to their social media profiles, and then arrested them. Yes, dude, this is happening. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I work for Skynet. You can't be saying
there's an actual company in China called Skynet, and they legitimately are an artificial intelligence company that is compiling everything that we have. Yeah. you're like, well, Terminator is
If
a favorite movie of
Arnie
our.
dies, we all die.
No,
I'm
seriously.
serious.
He's
John
like,
Connor, John Connor,
he's
come
our
with me.
the last bastion of humanity is Arnold.
Yeah. He's the hero.
Dude, he was Conan.
He's,
He was a
oh my god!
T-100.
So speaking of, I recently watched a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, like a
Which
new
one?
movie. It's called Killing Gunther. Is the name?
No,
of
I
it.
watched the same one.
It's
like
so cheesy. It's
Wait,
so
like
cheesy.
like a new movie or like?
Yeah, so I think it came out 2018 or 19. So I don't think it came out in 2020, but it was definitely within the last 2 years. I just saw it on Netflix. So basically, it's a mockumentary, like comedy.
Mhm.
So basically, the premise is that it's a group of assassins. They're hired hitmen who
Typical
are
Arnold plot.
do what?
It's a typical
typical
Arnold Schwarzenegger
So
plot right there.
Arnold actually isn't. So I'm actually spoiling it, but his face is in the thumbnail, so people are gonna guess it. Like Arnold is the assassin that they're trying to kill. Like Arnold is the top tier #1 assassin in the world. Like nobody knows how to find him. He's never been photographed or videoed, anything like that. But he has a long list of confirmed kills. And so this is a group, a team of assassins who hired a documentary crew to film them killing Gunther, titular name of the movie, and like prove that they're the best. And it is only kind of funny.
It's only kind of good.
It's only Batman was a better comedy than this. But speaking of Batman, we're getting the Snyder cut of Justice League. I'm excited for that.
Really, dude?
Ooh, Snide Dog.
I don't know, man. DC is
But
I've given them a fair shot, man.
but this is the Snyder cut. He was the director. This is the cut the fans wanted, and we're getting it.
Oh, okay. I mean, then maybe I'll give it a shot. But
Yeah,
Zack Snyder, he's come out with some good stuff. Don't get me wrong. Because he did Watchmen too, didn't he?
that I don't know.
Wasn't he Watchmen?
Hold on.
Did he do 300?
Yeah, he did 300.
Yeah, I'm gonna
sure.
look that up real quick. The Watchmen movie.
But he has very stylized, very nerdy movies, and that's where I think, yeah, he I don't know, the last couple of movies I feel like he's been on, he's kind of dropped the ball. But I mean, he only has so much control as a director.
You're right, Ray. You're right. He did direct the Watchmen movie.
Yeah, so he's had some
What year did that come out? 2000.
too long ago.
2009.
I think.
2009. I need to watch the TV show. There was a
the HBO.
I heard it was really really good.
Yeah, I saw
It was incredible.
Yeah, I saw. I went over to a buddy's house and he was watching a scene, and I was like, "Dang, that was like some intense."
And apparently, it really focuses on like a Black life perspective, like a majority. It has a majority Black cast.
Dude, right on.
I don't know if they're re-upping the contract for another season though. From what I heard, it's a standalone season at this point.
It might be,
which is unfortunate.
I mean, probably for the best though, because like I like things because they didn't last forever.
Yes.
Like my favorite, like I'm getting deep into nerd culture here, but my favorite anime of all time is Cowboy Bebop, and it's only one season. It's only 25, 26 episodes, and that's it. And it is consistently regarded as one of the best of all times. It had one movie that was really good too, but like I've shown it to a bunch of friends who kind of like anime, kind of don't, and they were like, "This is so good. Why was there not like 11 seasons? I would watch this forever." And it's like something's not good.
Wouldn't.
Something's not good. I think something is not
like
good.
Firefly.
Like Firefly. I've never seen Firefly.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm
Greatest
not a good nerd.
Sci-fi ever.
You see, okay, that's the thing. That's what everybody tells me, and I feel like I can't watch it now because there's much hype. There's so much hype around it. What if I like it?
And
what
the
if I don't like
graphics
it?
are shit.
Yeah, well, it's from the 90s.
You could program graphics that look better yourself right now.
On my iPhone.
On your iPhone, you could make something more realistic. You should check out Battlestar Galactica.
So cool.
Battlestar Galactica.
That I've never gotten in. I don't think I've seen a single episode of Battlestar Galactica.
Okay, it's the same deal though, where it's like I mean, the graphics now are just like wild. But it deals with some seriously deep stuff, like very deep questions as to like the worth of a human life. Like, I don't want to ruin it. You should check it out though. It's kind of mind blowing, honestly. There's a really cool episode where they're fighting robots, and these robots are chasing them, and they're on this like timer almost, so that the humans can't get sleep and can never like recover fully. It's phenomenal. I'm not selling it at all, but yeah.
I don't know. Ray, I feel like I was there.
Yeah, it was. Wow. Yeah.
You brought me into the scene. You do.
I'm sure if any Battlestar Galactica fan ever hears my synopsis just now, like they're just gonna like stroke out on the spot.
I'm going to intentionally post this video into a Battlestar Galactica.
Was it
subreddit?
Jason Momoa on Battlestar Galactica?
What?
Jason Momoa.
Was he? I know he was Aquaman. That's about all I know.
Which one was Harry talking? Stargate, maybe?
Maybe Stargate or something. Yeah, I don't think he was on Battlestar Galactica.
Jason Momoa was on Stargate?
Yeah. One of those shows.
Interesting.
And so was Gwyneth Paltrow.
One of those shows. They're all the same.
Yeah. Stargate. Star Trek.
Star Wars. It's just always Star.
I know.
Get a new celestial body. God.
I know, seriously. Get over the universe. But no, I mean, so jumping back a couple minutes, I do agree. There is value to the ending and summary of the story.
We went way off rails in terms of
we did.
what we were talking about.
No, I think that's a serious issue with modern society is like everything is just drawn out and stretched out for $1, and it's you lose the value of this, like the true value of a story, right?
Yeah.
And like, where is the creativity? Like, you don't allow your own mind to then like process and like fabricate like it's these own like alternate endings potentially. You're like, oh, what happens to even like Harry Potter? It's like you don't really know what happens after like a certain part, and it's like that's okay. Like that closing off of like a certain like volume is super important. That's why I never got in like True Detective.
Yeah. I can't remember where I heard this saying, but it's something like, something's not beautiful because it lasts forever. It's beautiful because it existed and it ended.
That's what was so cool about the show Firefly, because Firefly's the name of the ship, and it's got people with all different kinds of lifestyles and different jobs. And it's just like the most world peace show ever, because it's like all these people have to work together to make this one ship work.
All right, I'm going to give a shout out to Nathan Fillion. If he wants to come on the podcast and talk about Firefly, we will host you.
I will be like, oh my gosh, Nathan, and then our Nathan can take a seat.
Join with us as always, Nathan Fillion.
My Nathan, how you've changed.
Nathan Fillion comes on with his big, beautiful face and perfect jawline.
And he's like, hey, have you guys heard about the military?
Was he a military serviceman or?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But his name's Nathan.
Yeah.
If you're a Nathan on this show, you have to talk about the military.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
But no, Firefly is on my to watch list on Hulu, so maybe one day I'll get to it. But there's just so much content out there.
It's only like 8 episodes too, and then you watch Serenity, and it ruins your life because you get so sad.
I feel bad because I've actually been rewatching a lot of things. Like
instead of trying new stuff.
So I've actually been rewatching Brooklyn Nine-Nine just because I need some funny cops in my life after everything else. I've been going deep, obviously I think a week into this 30-day challenge now. And so just with everything that's going on, 2 weeks after George Floyd's death, or I think 3 weeks at this point, with everything going on and police brutalities, I've just kind of been balancing it out with funny detectives and funny cops. And Brooklyn Nine-Nine it's just so freaking funny. And I never watched it until last year. My roommate in grad school showed it to me, and we just binge watched the entire 5 seasons in less than a month.
I don't like that one SNL actor. I think he plays the main cop.
Andy Samberg. Samberg, yeah.
I can't get it. He just doesn't do it.
He's very childish.
Yeah.
I could see that being a complaint. He is very childish, but I think he's funny.
Yeah.
I don't watch Saturday Night Live. I can't remember the last time I've seen like a full episode of Saturday Night Live, but
I just know he's from there.
yeah.
So I'd watch it for Terry Crews, though.
Dude, he kills it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I'd watch it for Terry Crews' chest. If it just played the bongos the entire thing, I'd watch it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, Terry. All right.
Makes me want to do push-ups.
We need more people like him in society. He's got some. I don't know if you guys follow him on, like, first of all, Reddit is like this like haven of like Terry Crews like fanatics. But like some of his tweets and stuff are just really spot on, you know?
So I don't have Twitter.
Me neither.
I don't have Twitter either.
Even when I had a Twitter, I maybe posted 100 tweets in my entire life. Like I was never really.
I think I tweeted once.
Wow, you're better than me.
I've never tweeted.
Wow, you're all better than me. But I just never got. It was just something I never got into, and it was just I didn't need another thing consuming my time.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have Facebook, and that's enough for me. But even Facebook's starting to take way too much up on me. And if I'm being totally honest with you, like I feel like I still have Facebook because other people still want to like keep tabs on me.
Yeah.
Because like I've had a lot of people, it's like, you know, Will, we love to see that, you know, you're in remission. We love to see that you're doing great and doing good things. I keep up with you on Facebook all the time. And so it's like, I just feel like if I go dark, people are going to start questioning if I'm okay or not. So
no, Will, dude,
going dark.
You're kicking life's ass back at it.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, the best thing I ever did was delete all social media, and I mean all social media. Like if I'm on Reddit, I actually literally go to the website like on my phone, you know. I don't even have the app installed. No,
okay,
I know.
Okay, old man, do you type www first too?
HTTPS:// yeah.
It's like, would you like to use the desktop?
Yeah, and I'm like, yes. Would you like to download the app? No.
I bet he still uses. I bet he still uses Internet Explorer too.
Oh, you nailed it, dude. Yeah. No, I'm gonna one up you on that. Netscape.
Whoa. Hey, dude, can I get your AIM tag? Can I get your AIM username?
You can't. Yeah.
Well, I still illegally pirate music from LimeWire, so I don't know.
Dude.
Nice, dude. That's old school. That's like
old school.
Dawn of the internet. Yeah.
And then FrostWire came right after it.
Did you guys have a MySpace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I felt like I was a computer coder or a coder genius when I could figure out. I would literally just like, there were so many websites out there that you could just like, it would help you get the codes to like edit your page. And I was like, I'm a coder. I can hack the internet.
Yeah.
I had like a 27-page profile, dude.
Yeah. I had like 20 music videos.
Mostly topless women. It was horrible. I was...
Nice.
Did we not vet him? Did we not do a background check on Kyle before?
We definitely didn't. First of all, I'd never be doing a podcast with an Avalanche fan, but here I am. So that was the first like filter that he should have not passed through.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit this video. I'm gonna have to put like a blurry thing over
just a blur right there.
Just a blur.
I don't even remember MySpace, honestly. Like, I have vague memories of it, you know?
But I think what made it stand out was that top 8. You always fighting to be in somebody's top 8. That's when you know, that's true friendship.
Yeah.
I had some good friends who I never have spoken to again who are in the top 8.
Looking at you, Tom. Looking at Tom. Tom was always in my top 8. You got to give credit to the man.
Now I'm like, oh yeah, I deleted all my social media, but I don't know if my MySpace is still up right now.
Dude, I think I deleted my MySpace, but I don't know, man. Somebody could probably still find those middle school photos, and I'm not. Dude,
okay. You should check out. You want to find something really creepy? Going back to AI, facial recognition. Clearview AI, man. They have. So there's this thing you can do with computer programming, specifically Python, where you can like scrape websites for data and photos and things like that. They've illegally just been like scraping websites, Facebook, Instagram. I'm sure they've hit MySpace. Yeah. And they've compiled databases of anyone's photos. I mean, I would not be surprised if all of our photos had been compiled by this AI already. And
Yeah.
they did a interview on, I think it was like CNN or something, and they punched in this dude's name, and they were finding photos from like when this dude was in high school.
Oh wow.
Yes, and it was matching his face, his driver's license face,
That's
to
scary.
Harry's. Yes. So yeah, I'm sure your middle school photos can be.
Great.
I totally hope the one I
Well,
took.
you see, the thing is, those photos had hair, so I think I'm safe.
No.
Yeah,
No, speaking of that,
I'm a
that's
totally different
hilarious.
person now.
Because I took a picture in a robe when I burned off my eyebrows.
Nice.
One time. I hope that's still on there because I looked like I was ready for the movie Birdcage and I was going for it.
Oh, nice.
Man.
Birdcage. That's a classic right there.
What a callback.
It's a classic.
I almost singed my eyebrows off a couple weeks ago, actually. I was stoked. I was stoking a fire, and I didn't realize like the wind had been blowing the flame back towards my face, and like I went to brush my hand through my hair just like that, something like that, and it was just like
Chaz.
It was just like ash coming, like Chaz. That, and then my eyebrows and my eyelashes like were all like crispy on the ends, and I was like, oh my god, if I like singed my eyebrows off to nothing.
That's so funny.
He just looked like, Ray, when your little hair was curling right in front, you looked like totally like Shag Daddy Superman right there. You looked like
Shag Daddy Superman. Man of Steel.
I gotta look this up so I understand the reference.
Man of Steel right here.
Daddy Superman.
Shag Daddy Superman. I feel like you're gonna come up with some weird videos if you type in Daddy Superman, though.
So anything, yeah, I'm not gonna. I got photos of Shaq, but that is it. So, yeah,
I think you spelled Shag wrong.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, I got the Superman curl going. Okay.
Yeah.
Shaq Daddy Superman.
No, Henry Cavill just has some bro Man of Steel hair.
Yeah,
dude, right?
Dude. That guy. Yeah, he's in The Witcher too, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
That show is so good. Dude, it's so good.
It's really good.
Dude, I don't watch anything, man. I know of things. I know.
Yeah.
I know
what do
of
you
things.
even do with what do you do with your time?
Yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube, like weird shit, dude. Like I'm the person who watches this 3-hour like documentary or speech or like just weird stuff, man. I'm that person who's
You're
giving
that guy.
those videos.
All those views come from you alone.
Yeah. Like I'll do multiple nights of like watching the same YouTube video just to like understand this concept to like completion. Or at least, I try. I don't know.
I will go down random YouTube channels that are like documentaries or history docs and stuff like that. Like you basically have the History Channel on YouTube if you're willing to look at it. Like that's how I learned everything about the Samurai Empire.
That's how I learned everything about aliens building the pyramids too.
It definitely.
I just realized I've been wearing sleeveless shirts this entire time, and I've got full sleeves today.
Wow, man, you're really mixing it up, dude.
That was a logical leap from YouTube to Samurai to sleeves.
It says warrior
veteran, man. All you need is a tap out shirt and you're good to go.
Hey Kyle, did you know your tap out shirt? Hey Kyle, did you know you were in the military?
What? Who's Kyle?
Huh? Navy?
Oh,
my name is Skynet, and
my name is Skynet. Please don't do this. I don't have my IP address like saved, like blocked. So someone's gonna definitely find me on this computer.
Yeah, Zoom is not safe.
It's so funny how I started.
I really need to get a VPN.
You guys literally started like phasing out. Now it's frozen, dude. Told you.
Yeah, there's some lag going on today.
Right, just stay still. Maybe he'll think we froze.
Whoa, dude! My roommate just went outside in bare feet and then came back with flip flops on. That was insane.
Wow. That's a great story.
Impressive.
Can you tell it again? Do we have time?
Oh, man.
So I definitely, while we have some time left, I definitely want to dive into how everyone's 30-day challenge is going.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. Having like, well, my job is no longer like where I'm gonna live,
Mhm.
Yeah.
where we're gonna like be eating. Like my like hierarchy of needs
Yeah.
is like focused very much on the bottom. So seeing this like the reaching that stage of like self-actualization has been like a challenge for me. I've had to really focus on that. So
Yeah.
I have not been as diligent as I have necessarily needed to be, but I
That's okay.
also
Yeah.
have read Michelle Alexander multiple times, so
Okay.
Okay.
feel pretty
Cool.
um confident about that stuff. But I did do
Ray,
the
we're on the same page, buddy.
yeah.
Like I tried, and I just had so much personal stuff pop up in the last week. It's been
Excuses.
I know.
ridiculous. Dude.
Look at all these excuses I
No,
hear. I mean, if you
I
just
did I did the first one where you had to like sit in your sit in your privilege or something like that.
did you read the
Um,
article? Did you read the essay, Invisible Knapsack?
yeah.
It's a good one.
No, and I do like that invisible knapsack
Yeah.
analogy. And it was interesting too, because I like finished reading that list that person that
Mhm.
author had put together, and I was like,
Peggy McIntosh.
yeah,
McIntosh?
and I was like, well, literally my first response was like, there were a couple that I was like, okay, I understand that, and then there was somewhere I'm like, that's just bullshit, And then I was sitting there, and because at first I didn't understand what that whole like, okay, afterwards sit in your like privilege or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then afterwards I'm sitting there and I'm like all like wound up, and I was like, oh, that's what they mean, like,
Yeah.
because it did,
Yeah.
quote unquote trigger me in a way, and then I was like, there's no way, like that can't be that, like I would never do that, and it's that like personification that like they're talking about me. It's like, no, those things do happen across society,
Yeah.
so
I think so I'm in obviously the opposite boat. I have I have a lot of free times on my hands. So I actually
yeah.
I tried to like dissect it to the best of my ability and then also read some other things associated with it. And there was one article that I found that was like a pseudo facilitation guide about if you're going to like present on this invisible knapsack. And it was important to point out that this is just one person's perspective and this is just
Yeah.
one person's experience. So what's true for Peggy is not true for Ray, kind of deal. But I think you are oh man. But I think you're right in that, I think the first time I read that, I was like, well, I would never do that kind of thing. Like this isn't white privilege, but there are so many of it, or there's like so many unknown things that made me think. But I think there's one part in there that always triggers me in a sense, and I still am coming to terms with it, is by accepting what the conversation is like breaking down the myth of meritocracy, which in a capitalistic society, that's like the base of our society is meritocracy. We want to believe that like everything we have, we earned because we worked our ass off to get it. And we have earned the merits to prove that.
Yeah.
But if you look at it from a lens of privilege and social justice, then the system was already set up for people like us to have an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
And the example I give is, it was probably easier for me to get into college than most people, but I still got on Dean's List by myself. Like I had to work my ass off to make straight A's and to get on that Dean's List. But even still, I had to think, I was fortunate enough to go to a charter school, which is basically a private school, where I had tutors and people to tutor me and encourage me and always say like, you're really smart, you can do this kind of thing. So I had to like take a step back and realize like, you know what, it's finding a balance between the two for me, because I want to believe that there is still a meritocracy in this country, that if you work hard and you fight for something, you can get it. But you have to also acknowledge that you're starting at a different place than other people. And it's just, I think ultimately where I'm coming from is it's unfair to not, at least you need to at least acknowledge it, like realizing that you kind of had an advantage over some other people.
Oh yeah.
I'm so glad you explained what that was, because that was way more than like 4 letters, and I was lost.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, if you liken it to a race, it's like, yeah, you had a coach, whereas the other person's just running on their own will.
Yes.
or they don't have shoes and you have nice track shoes. There's so many metaphors and parallels you can make. And I think ultimately where that uncomfortability comes from, at least for me, after reading that list, is that I was, until reading that list, hypothetically, right? Like I more or less was ignorant and or just had never seen even some of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it just further proved in a way that there was this privilege in society and that things were not equal. And I think it's like I had frustrations towards the list, but ultimately it was just me coming to terms with, oh, those things are happening, right? And yeah, it's just one lady's opinion, but I think it's a good, you don't need to take it like it's like,
No.
I don't know, like carved in stone, but it's a good starting point for conversation. So
I had a sense of this where I was talking to one of my friends and fraternity brothers, Eric Moat. Eric Moat is such a great guy and furthest thing from a racist I've ever met. Yeah, you've met him.
Got it, Eric.
Shout out to Eric if he will ever listen to this. But anyway, he was talking to me that he was on his way home from work and got caught up in a protest. I guess protesters had pseudo taken over a highway and it was like blockading or something like that. And his car got a little dinged up because some protesters or people were throwing rocks, or like somebody was causing a ruckus and throwing rocks at the cars. And his actual words were like, man, like, I'm just trying to get home. Like, why is this happening to me? I'm just trying to get home.
Yeah.
And my very first thought was, man, maybe that's how a black person feels when he gets pulled over by a cop. Like, I'm just trying to get home. What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And so maybe some of the stuff that's going on is bringing to light, like they're trying to put it into white people's face. That's like, some of the things that you take for granted are some things that we live with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Which to me is privilege. So,
and I would say
that's
too,
just one anecdote.
Yeah, no, it's like, you're just trying to get home and like, it's like, that's great. But there are people who are just, that's like, cool, there's far worse things that could be happening, but it's good because I think it's, people get kind of caught up in, their habits and their daily routine, and you're just kind of going through life and, going with the flow. You wake up, go to work, kind of that humdrum, like, schedule. And it's good for their, routine to be broken up by protests, because maybe that will now cause them to reflect on that a little bit longer than they may have if they were just driving by and saw a bunch of people holding signs. Not that I'm warranting that, not that I'm warranting like protesters be out there like dinging up cars and stuff, but
no,
I think the message gets diluted at that point.
Same. But I think, also, since I've had so much free time, I've been trying to expand on the 30-day challenge because a lot of the stuff is really easy. Like today's challenge was watching a 3-minute video. Like that was really the whole deal. So I've been trying to see other avenues, and fortunately streaming services have dedicated playlists to this stuff. Like if you go to Netflix, there's an entirely dedicated Black Lives Matter playlist that are a bunch of like movies and documentaries and shows and stuff like that are all about educating yourself on what's going on out there.
Yeah.
And one thing that I watched was, do you know the artist Killer Mike from Atlanta, Georgia? He's a rapper. So he has a show on Netflix called Trigger Warning. And it's like different topics to try to like, and there's a lot of the like similar themes and messages that we're talking about now. And this came out in 2019, but every episode is different. And the very first episode was he challenged himself to live 100% black for 3 days. And he is a black man, obviously, like right off the bat. But what that meant was he could not buy anything, eat anything, couldn't do anything that didn't come directly from black people. So, and where this came about is the beginning of the episode starts with a statistic about how long money stays in a community. And like on average, like $1 will stay in a white community for, I think like 21 days. And then, but on average, $1 will stay in a black community for 6 hours.
Dang.
Yeah.
Damn.
What does that actually mean?
So basically what that means is like, once you get that money, does it go back into a black business owner? Does it go back to a black farm, or are you
Gotcha.
giving it to Subway that is probably owned by a white man or a white corporation?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Or
So-
a rental agency or something.
Yeah. And
Gotcha.
so even to the extreme of it was he could not smoke weed for 3 days because there are no black owned weed farms.
Damn.
And so he actually almost starved too. He almost didn't eat anything for 3 days because there are hardly no farm that were like run by black people. It wasn't until like the 3rd day that he was in, I think, Athens, Georgia, and found like one of the last Civil War era black owned farms that's still like in operating. And like, there's like the sweetest old woman that made him this nice Southern cooking, and he was having the time of his life. It was super sweet. But
Nice.
yeah, he couldn't like, he could support black businesses, but he couldn't eat at black restaurants, like a black owned restaurant, if the food didn't come from like a black farm.
I'll have to check that out. That does sound really cool.
And that was just the very first episode. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd episode. He comes up with a concept to like have Coca-Cola that was also black owned. And so he had the concept of making Cripa-Cola. And it literally is that like soda that was made by the gang Crips. Because the beginning of this argument was like, hey, remember back in like the 60s and 70s when the Hell Angels were like a hellacious organization that caused so much damage, but now they're like a philanthropic group and you can buy t-shirts from them. Why aren't we treating the Crips and Bloods that way too? So he did
Giving
exactly
them a chance. Yeah.
Exactly. He did exactly that. He got the Crips made Cripa-Cola and the Bloods made Blood Pop. And they went to a farmer's market and they got branding and they sought endorsements and they actually have a product that they have in Georgia for sale. And it was super cool because it was really funny because it's at like a like quintessential farmer's market, one of the whitest things I've ever seen. And then you have a Crip table set up and a Blood table set up right next to each other. And they're just palling around trying to get other people to buy their soda, not the other. Like, you know, we're not gangs. We're not killing each other. Like Killer Mike is like, it's just a street fraternity. That's all it is now. It's a street fraternity. Like we're trying to eliminate the gang violence thing out of it.
Yeah. No, that's
every episode is different like that. It made me think hard, dude. The whole
seriously, really good. Will, just you talking about it had me so interested. It shut Kyle up for like 10 minutes. So
yeah, it's only I think it's only like 6 or 7 episodes, 30 minutes each, easy to watch. But yeah, trigger warning with Killer Mike. It's really, really good. So I've been trying to watch some more content like that because I have the time. I can stick with the 30-day challenge. But some of it is hard to do. So like there was one like yesterday's challenge was dinner and a movie, and you had to watch 13th on Netflix, which
I was just going to bring that up.
Was extremely powerful. We could probably have it an entire 2-hour episode on just that.
We should talk about that maybe next week.
Yeah, I would like to see Nathan's opinion on that. But there was dinner and a movie. You had to find a black-owned restaurant, and where I live, I couldn't find one.
There's nothing out here in Gunnison.
No, I couldn't find a black, like even like I wasn't trying to go like a black owned farm, 100% farm to table black owned, but even just a black owned restaurant, like just brick and mortar, I could not find. I tried for like an hour and I was getting hungry, so I got Taco Bell. I'm sorry. I can't. I needed to eat. I'm sorry, but I've done, I think that's like the one thing. The other thing I haven't done yet is, don't hate me, I'm not registered to vote because I'm waiting until I get to North Carolina. It will happen.
I'm not either.
I'm waiting until I've decided that after summer, I'm moving back to North Carolina, regardless if I'm employed or not. So once I move back down south, I'm going to register to vote. But that's like the one thing I've consciously haven't been able to do. But the one thing that I wasn't actually not able to do was support a black-owned restaurant. That one kind of hurt a little, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I mean, we all know what it's like to live in Gunnison. I mean, there's the Ava and I came up with a term. We call it white Wakanda out here.
Wow.
Because it's just, it's true. I mean, it's, and that's one thing that we both deeply, deeply miss is the diversity, that just intrinsic diversity of the Chicagoland area. Because it's like, to find a black-owned restaurant in Chicago, I don't want to say it would be easy, right? But it would be, I mean,
easier.
Way easier. Yeah, I mean, and those are, I think that's, it's something I took for granted, is like just being able to go to these like, cultural hotspots.
You can go to Jermaine's, but that's about it.
Yeah,
I can't think of anything other than Jermaine's.
Yeah,
I think that's the only. Yep.
Yeah. No, you're correct. I didn't even and I don't. Yeah, I've been kind of cautious about the whole.
Yeah, what does that say about Connecticut? It's easier to find a black-owned business in Gunnison than it is in Waterford.
No, that's yeah. I didn't even think
My
about
father's from
Jermaine's, to be
Connecticut,
honest.
so yeah.
I was thinking more restaurant than
Yeah.
kind of like ice cream thing.
Well, dude, have you had their food? I've been to Jermaine's and gotten like
Their food is good.
their food
I've
is
done their
really good.
bagel sandwiches in the morning.
Yeah, I got a wrap there for lunch one day. It was phenomenal. It's a little pricey, but what you're paying for, you get. Like it is worth it.
No, I'm
Absolutely worth it.
I'm glad that we
Shout
have
out,
like
shout out to Jermaine's in Gunnison, Colorado. If you're listening to this, everybody go eat there and support that business.
I might go grab some froyo actually right after this.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's right.
If they're open.
It's not 10:30 at night like it is here.
Yeah, we're
You guys, you still have some sun. You still have some.
I know
sun.
you can see it coming in the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. But well, yeah. Speaking of that though, I think I'm gonna probably log off here, grab some dinner.
Logging off here.
Yeah, same.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I haven't eaten since my ride.
Definitely get some calories in you, man. Well, it was super good to catch up with you all. Sucks that Nathan couldn't join us, but I definitely think next week we should have a really good conversation about 13th and some other.
It should be his whole next week.
It'll more than likely be our whole next week.
Yeah.
And I also
His
know
whole.
that sometime next week is when we start reading new Jim Crow. I think that's day 10 through 16, and that's coming up real soon.
Okay.
In 3 days. So
yeah, and see if your buddy can join.
I ordered my book and I followed the link, tried to support a Black-owned library. So
Nice.
I got the book in the mail. Hopefully it comes on time, and I'll just start reading it and going there.
You're kicking ass at this, Will.
I have the time, and I've been really thinking about it. It's like if I know I can't go to a protest because I'm worried about COVID, then the very least I can do is educate myself. And I also think the very least we can do is educate ourselves to a point to where we can continue the conversation. Not saying we don't want to change anybody's mind, but we shouldn't just be hoarding that knowledge. We should be sharing it. So I think having this podcast is a great way to do it.
No, I definitely agree.
Cool.
Yeah, you guys are totally awesome. I enjoy
Kyle,
this
you're
every
awesome.
time.
You're awesome. This has been a great episode. I've had so much fun.
This has been a great episode. Every episode. Just
every episode is great.
No, this is fun.
For sure.
Caleb just shook his head. He was like, "Nah, dude." He's like, "I wasn't the star."
He's gonna give this video a thumbs down. I can already tell.
I know. Those scones look great. Look at these.
Well, if you've enjoyed what you've had to see today, please like, comment, and remember to subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned with all rabbit hole content. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Shaka.
Bye.
Shaka, bro.